think it's important for all of us to understand that selling, salesmanship, is a very good thing. You know, if not for the salesman, where would the world be? And it's ironic because you know, a lot of times the profession in general gets a bit of a bad rap, but the reality is, if you built a commercial property and you never picked up the phone to call somebody to see if they wanted to rent it and use it, or if they wanted to buy it, or if you built a product and nobody ever knew that it existed, what is the point, right? And you're probably looking at a computer right now, and think of all the salespeople that were involved in all the components of that computer to get that thing built, to get that to your desk. And this is directly responsible for an increased standard of living. And so at the end of the day, reaching out and developing connections and facing rejection and all the things that all of us do on a daily basis, it matters. It matters, and it's worth doing. It's really is the catalyst for all economic activity. That's not to knock engineers or you know, construction companies. You absolutely have to have that also, but the whole system works together. And I think that the message here is this matters, and it's worth doing. So, you know, we obviously have a sales environment here at ProspectNow. We've got a sales team, and we're out reaching out to people like yourselves and presenting the benefits, features, and benefits of our product. But I do think that one of the most important prerequisites before doing any cold calling, before doing anything, is the proper attitude. So let's frame that up. What is that? And I think it's really simple. It's don't sell something you don't believe in. If you don't believe in what you're doing, do something else. Do something that you can develop passion for. Now, in commercial brokerage, you're selling something different all the time, right? It may be a property, it may be a space, and there's always a case to be made for that. But also, you're selling yourself, right? And it's easy to believe in yourself. Let's put it that way. So the first thing is find that value, get passionate about what you do, and believe in it. One story that I can tell you here at ProspectNow is we're hiring salespeople all the time. In fact, we're hiring a lot of salespeople right now. And I've discovered something, and that is that when salespeople first join the company, they are effectively being exposed to the ProspectNow propaganda, right? This is why we're better, this is what we do, yada, yada. But when they come across a customer that has made, you know, 3 or 4 deals as a result of the product and their own effort, that really brings it home for them, and they become better salespeople. So finding the meaning is critical in being a good salesperson. So that's something I can't stress enough. The second thing I would say here is to be the authentic version of yourself. Nothing sells like the truth. So if you are true to your own personality, your own style, everybody's going to have different techniques. I mean, we've heard all these techniques, you know, different, the assumptive close, the puppy dog sale, all these different techniques, and some work for some people and some don't work. But the point is, do what is natural, because prospects pick up on that, and they sense your passion, and when you're upfront and honest with them, it creates credibility. Let me give you an example. So we're doing this webinar today, and we're doing this because we want our customers to be successful, right? But we also want them to buy more of our service, right? So that's just an honest statement, and I think everybody understands that, and prospects understand that, customers understand that. So when you're doing a deal, it's absolutely just and right that you earn a commission, and that's something that when you get comfortable with that, it makes you a better salesperson, because not only is it not wrong, it's right, and that's something that I think is you know, we don't see enough of today. I actually see it a lot in residential real estate, where it's like, well, I'm not doing this for the commission or what have you, but you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. And if you drill down one level deeper, while it is true you're doing it for the commission, it is also true that I think most people I've encountered do want their customers to be happy and successful. So, I just think that nothing sells like the truth. And also, it sets expectations. When you're upfront with people, they can see where you're coming from, and you can avoid certain roadblocks along the way. So, all these things, I think, are important ingredients or foundations to what we're going to talk about in more detail, and that's cold calling. So the reason I'm framing that up, incidentally, is because I think that a good cold call can't be done without these things. With respect to authenticity, I want to tell you a quick story. We hired a salesperson here once, and I remember when I was negotiating the offer with him, he was good. He was told me what he wanted, negotiated very professionally. I was excited about bringing him on board, and then when he got on the phones, he didn't sound like the guy that I negotiated with. He sounded robotic, and it didn't sound like him. And so he kind of drifted to a certain extent away from from himself to what he thought he should sound like. And I just think that tends to be a pitfall for a lot of people when they feel like they have to be a certain way. So again, the authenticity. Okay, now let's talk about cold calling. Cold calling is something in my career I have done a lot of, and I'm proud of that. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a lot of fun. Maybe many of you who are on this webinar today have gotten a call. Either you signed up on our website at one point, or maybe you somehow got to us, or we reached out to you. But the point is that I think everybody on this call can say, we've all done this to a certain extent. So I like to look at things in a real simple manner and with an objective. Okay, so what is the objective? What is the goal of a cold call? Now, in my experience in commercial brokerage, I think it's a meeting. Okay, a meeting is clearly a next step. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on this. Some people say, well, why do I want to go waste my time and meet with somebody that is telling me over the phone that they don't want to have anything to do with me, and they're never going to, want to sell their property or lease their space or what have you. But what I have discovered is that people are not going to open up to you about maybe one of their most precious assets over the phone. It's just not going to happen. In fact, I have a memory of actually one of the first deals I ever did in commercial real estate. I called, there was a building with about 4 partners. One of the partners wanted out really bad. I didn't know that he wanted out. I just was calling, and he was real standoffish on the phone with me. But I asked him for the meeting, and then when I got the meeting and started to get to know him a little bit, he opened up to me a little bit about the situation with the partnership and how he wanted to get out, and he thought that I might be able to help him sell the other 2 guys, et cetera, et cetera. And that's not a conversation that people will typically have over the phone. I think it's about establishing the relationship, putting your best foot forward, and showing people that you're willing to go out there and take the time to develop the relationship. So, so the summary there is, what is the goal of a call? It's a meeting. Okay, if you can go out there and get a meeting, then everything will flow from that. Okay, the anatomy of a great call. I think this is exciting stuff. So what do you need to do in order to make a proper introduction and go through a good cold call? Well, the first thing I think is that clearly you're going to say something, okay, and this is the introduction that you're going to make, and tonality and getting through that preoccupation barrier is really critical, right? So most people, not only do they not want to get a call, they don't even want to have to think about what it is that you're talking about. They've got enough stuff on their plate. So you need to be able to figure out a way to slip through that. And going back to the earlier slides, that authenticity will help you get there, okay? Because the way we approach it is, hey, you know what? I'm here to help. I'm here to help, and if I can help you, great. If not, I understand. Let's stay in touch. And I think when people pick up on that and they sense that, and they can sense that through your tone, through the authentic communication of who you are, they'll pick up on that. So then the second thing is ask a question. Even if it's how are you, it's worth asking a question, because a proper communication is it's like a tennis match, and it has a flow. It has a back and forth, and if you're the one doing all the talking, it's like serving 10 serves at somebody and not giving them a chance to hit anything back. So I think ask a question as soon as you can, because that will establish the tone and the nature of the call. Now, a lot of people will ask a question and then they don't know how to deal with the silence on the other end, and this one's always something I think is interesting. So there's a dead silence there sometimes, and if you wait it through and the person thinks about what you're saying and they respond, you've established a very healthy communication platform. A lot of times I've seen a lot of inexperienced salespeople ask the question, and then before the person has a chance to answer, they're saying something else. So silence is your friend. It can be an incredibly useful tool in a lot of different aspects, actually, and negotiating and what have you. But this is something that I think is really useful. Okay, so the other things we kind of already talked about is, authentic version of yourself, and find your genuine desire to help the prospect. I mean, that is really the goal. If they really don't need a space, or they don't, they don't want to buy or sell. Incidentally, you can't diagnose that over the phone, okay? But nonetheless, if you go out for a meeting and you have that experience, then I do think it's fair to say, hey, let's stay in touch, and maybe you can help that person in the future. Okay, so let's get specific. So now I'm going to actually open up ProspectNow and show you a search that I think is useful, and how you might do a search to pull up some property owners and then make the calls. So let's do this. So I'm going to back out of here, and I'm going to open up ProspectNow. It's just prospectnow.com. Many of you on this call have have an account. If you don't have an account, we can handle that as we go here. So I'm going to do a simple search here. Okay, I'm going to click on Advanced, and I'm going to look for properties that I think have potentially deferred maintenance. So maybe the owner might be interested in trading into something that's easier to manage. And I'm looking for everything on a specific street. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to reset my search. I'm going to say, okay, find me everything on Lincoln Avenue. Okay. And then I'm going to say building square footage 5 to 20,000. Okay. Square feet. All right. And then I'm going to go year built prior to 1987. Okay, this is just one example, and the purpose of this webinar is not so much a training on ProspectNow. It's more about how you might use it in the daily life here, and how to reach out to these building owners. So you'll see everything highlighted in yellow there. Okay, that's going to be applied in my search, and so I'm going to do this. Okay, now I got 43 results, and the first one I've got here is this. Let's just do a little zoom in here and take a look. Okay, so there's everything on Lincoln. Remember, I did a search on Lincoln Avenue, so this shows me everything. Okay, and now I've got a property here, 1261 Lincoln. I can see it. I got the street view. No need to go out anymore, right, and take pictures of properties and all this kind of manual work, right? It's all in one place now, which is nice. Okay, and the owner's buyer properties, here's all the details on the property. It looks like it's a 15,000-foot building on a 42,000-foot lot. Now, if I click on this owner tab, this is going to give me all the information I need on the owner, okay? The goal here is to get a name of somebody to ask for, a phone number, and maybe even an email address if you want that for follow-up purposes, if they give you permission to email them. So in this case, I'm just going to look at this. I've pretty much got everything I need to know about this property. I can see the history here. I'm going to click call. Okay, and now I've got a couple phone numbers here, which is great. And you can see I've got a phone number, and over here on the partner, I've got an individual. Okay, so Alan is the person that I want to talk to. So let's say I dial the number, okay, and I'm going to ask for Alan. Now, what to say, right? So let's get real specific on a call here. Okay. So let's just say, hey, I'm at Ajax Commercial Real Estate. So I'd say, hi, Alan. This is Steve Wayne calling from Ajax Commercial Real Estate. Or, is Alan in? Yeah, this is Alan. And then I would just, again, my style is just honest and upfront with respect to why I'm calling. There are some people that are successful in different types of intros. I personally like to keep it real simple, and the reason I'm calling is I want to see if he wants to sell his property. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So I'm going to say, hey Alan, I was just calling about your property on Lincoln Avenue. I wanted to reach out to you and see if you had any plans to sell or invest in anything else, if there's anything I could help you with. Let's just say he tells me to pound sand, right? No. Okay. So not uncommon again. Right? He's not gonna open up to me over the phone, and this is where I'm gonna just take a quick aside and just talk about the genius of rejection. Rejection is just, there's so much to be learned from it, in my opinion, and I think it's a great necessity for personal growth. This is how we all get better. And it's not, in this case, in my example here, it's not that Alan is a bad guy. He just doesn't have time to talk to me, obviously, and he thinks he's probably gotten 15 other calls from a bunch of other brokers today, and he just doesn't want to talk to me, right? So, my take on this is that if you react to somebody that's kind to you with kindness, it's a nice thing to do, but it doesn't take much character. And if you react to somebody that's rude to you with rudeness, it might be kind of expected, but that doesn't take character either. So it's the other. It's where somebody might be short or rude with you, and you're pleasant, right? There's something that's magic there, and I think it's easier to talk about than it is to do. So, a lot of people say, oh, reject doesn't bother me. I think it bothers everybody to a certain extent, but after a while, it's like exercise. A strength builds up there, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And so, at this point, if Alan told me to pound sand, this is, now I can't take credit for this one. This is what my manager, when I started in commercial real estate, he called it the truth close, and this works, and I love this close. I think it's a great way to just explain the situation, and that is, I use this a lot. I would just say, I get it. Alan, I get that you don't want to buy. I get that you don't want to sell. I get that you're not looking for space. I get that you don't need any space filled. I hear you loud and clear. But, you're not doing anything today, but I'm a real active broker in the area. I'm a go-getter. I'm getting after it. I'm closing deals all the time. And maybe someday you're going to want to do something. And when that day comes, I'd like the opportunity to earn your business. So, I'd just love to come down and take 5 minutes of your time, introduce myself, maybe show you some stuff that's on the market. Is that something that you'd be would be acceptable to you? And, he still may say no to me, but the point is, I got a lot of meetings that way. I developed a lot of relationships that way, and I think it's a very honest approach, and I do think it works. Again, everybody's got a different style here, so you're looking at you're seeing what my style would be, and I don't have a monopoly on the style, so you got to find your own style that works. But the point is, this is something that I had a lot of success with myself. Really simple. So this is the final. Do you have 10 minutes for me to drop by? Maybe I could give you a business card and show you some stuff on the market. In my experience, people are always interested in what stuff's trading for, just general market data. That tends to work well. So now if I go back to ProspectNow, okay, it's pretty easy to handle this. What I would do is I had the conversation, okay, I reached out, I know everything about his property. I'm going to click save here. I'm going to enter a note, wants to meet on Friday, and I'm going to add this owner to a group. Okay, so I'm going to click add to group, save and add to group. Now it saves my note, okay, and I can put him in a group. I'm going to create a group here. I'm just going to make one up called hot leads, okay. All right, and add this. Look how easy this is. Just on the fly, I just created this group. I select the group I want to add Alan to, and I just click add to selected group, and I'm done. Okay. So now what happened? I just made a call. Now, if I go to the next person, this one's yellow, okay, and right here it says, my note wants to meet on Friday. If I go back to him, you can see down here now, group name, hot leads, last modified date, call date, note, all that's there for you so that you have it in one place. So one of the things that's interesting about ProspectNow is the whole objective here is to just take you out of the business of managing data and put you back into the business of being a broker. And that's what the system is designed to do. And we have a lot of users that use different CRMs and they move the data into another CRM, and that's great. We fully support that. The system's designed to do that. You can also just, if you're doing basic contact management and you don't need something super sophisticated or complex, this works great. So data, phone numbers, individual decision makers, all in one place. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you here, and I think we probably don't talk about this enough at ProspectNow, but I want to take this opportunity to talk about it. And that is in the Contact Manager, there's an Activity tab here. And you can see that I've set a goal today to make 5 calls, and I just made one with you on this webinar, and I'm 20% of my goal, right? So now, if I wanted to go in here and just change my goal, okay, to 1, I'll be at 100%. See that? So now it goes to green. So when it goes green, you can go home, right? Real simple. And a very nice and user-friendly way of just managing that. Again, the whole mission here is to help you get more business. That's what it's all about. So that is the process there. So now let's talk about barriers to cold calling. Okay. So these are the common ones. I don't have time. That's common, right? And I have discovered that the mind will wander to any other task other than business development. I don't know why. I think it has something to do with the rejection and what have you. But that is it's a constant thing. So, make an appointment with yourself and put it on your calendar and say between this time and this time I'm going to, be calling or marketing. Incidentally, we'll probably do another webinar on direct mail because that works also. Doing a lot of mailers and the right kinds of mailers, man, that can be really powerful also. But at the end of the day, that direct one-on-one relationship is something that I think is just hard to. I don't think it's ever going to go away with social media and all this other stuff that's going on. At the end of the day, it's still about people. And having the guts to go out and introduce yourself to people is always gonna be beneficial. So what's another barrier? I don't know what to say. Okay, well, hopefully you've been on this webinar for most of it, and we've given you some tools there to handle that. And then the last one is I don't know who to call or how to get the data. Well, we'd like the opportunity to earn your business on that if you're not a customer. ProspectNow is designed exactly for this. In fact, just to give you a little bit more of an example here, I think that if you have a goal in terms of, an income goal, one of the things you could do is you can assign a dollar value to every call that you make. And that way, when you're making a call, you always are seeing the benefits. So, if your goal is to make $10,000 in a month and you make 1,000 calls, then it's $10 a call, right? So every time you make a call, that's $10. Boom, just keep it going. and that's a good way to kind of keep the motivation going. The other thing I would say is don't waste your time researching. You know, we've built a database of 8 million commercial building owners, and we don't have phone numbers for everybody, but we've got phone numbers for about 65% of them. So granted, there's 35% we don't have, but I'll take that as a valid excuse for not doing business development when you called the other 65%, right? So that is a really powerful advantage that our customers have, is that they don't have to spend time researching. So I'm a big believer in minimizing that. You're still going to have to do some. I mean, you can never get away from it, right? And so typically the way that a database has been researched is this manual process where you search a property address, you get an LLC, you get an LLC, you got to get a person, you get a person, you try and find the phone number, and you add that to the spreadsheet and repeat it 1,200 times, and it's just a lot of work. In a ProspectNow situation, we've done that effectively for you. So so that is available to you. So we just want to make sure that everybody that can benefit from the system does, and we're probably going to do more webinars like this. I think this is a topic that people really enjoy. And incidentally, the registration rate was really high for this webinar, which is exciting. It indicates that there's a lot of demand for something like this. So let's talk real briefly about ROI. This is just in general. Okay, if you're spending time researching and putting a database together, and we can alleviate some of that for you, what would that actually mean? Now, granted, you've got to do the work, right? We can't do it for you. You've got to be the person that goes out and reaches out to these people and does what you know how to do. But if we can save you, 75% of the time you spend researching now and reallocate that time to business development and marketing, what does that mean? And I've gone through this whole thing here where it's okay, you're going to save approximately 3 hours, and you can make 25 calls an hour, so you can make approximately 75 more calls. How many calls does it take to get a meeting? How many meetings does it take to get a listing? How many additional listings can you get in 12 months? Number of listings required to close a deal. I'm saying 2 to 1 right now. I think that's pretty conservative. I'd say it's more like, 80% of your listings, provided you price it right, the deal gets done. But the point is that at the end of the day, if you go through this whole process, it could potentially mean, in terms of commissions, granted, this is disclaimer, this is not a guarantee, right? But $42,000 in commissions, assuming an average deal size of 700 grand. So, so that's a way of looking at it. And this isn't just a ProspectNow thing. This is just, let's just talk about prospecting in general. What does that mean? So I want to summarize today. First, I want to. This is my shameless sales pitch close at the end. Okay, for those of you that have taken the time, I really appreciate it, and I hope, regardless of whether or not that you sign up for ProspectNow, I hope this was valuable to you. We're going to do more of these. But I do want to just briefly review how you can get access to this tool and what it costs. It's $89 a month, month to month. There's no contract, okay? So that would get you access to your primary county. If you want additional counties, it's $9.95 a month for each additional. So it's pretty easy to get access to this. And then we do also have an annual plan where if you pay up front for the year, you get 10% discount. You get all of your exports you can download. On the monthly, you can download 200 a month. On the annual, since you paid up front for the year, you get to download all 2,400 in one shot, just like that, if you want to do that. And then the last thing about the annual that's kind of nice is that we just introduced this, is that you get 4 counties instead of 1. So it's a home run deal. That's available to you. And again, I just want to thank everybody today. This has been a lot of fun for me because I just love doing, I love marketing and sales, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that everybody can always get better at. It's kind of like golf. You can never quite master it. So we're all always trying to get better. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude today's webinar, and we will probably do more of these moving forward. So again, I really appreciate everybody taking the time. Huge turnout today, and I hope you can take something away from this that is valuable regardless. So thanks a lot, and have a great day.